Niggas are gonna go through every ailment there is. You can't be worrying about that, because if we keep worrying about the trouble that the masses are in, we never cultivate anything among ourselves to get to the higher level in which the masses gonna be a part of. Because ultimately, all this shit got to be destroyed. This shit is over.
I am inevitable.
Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
Push the goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button.
All right, yo, we are live. We are live in full effect. Come on in, come on in.
Welcome.
Welcome to Night Day Network. All right, y'all, we gotta get into these titles. So Trump is being investigated for inside trading by the BBC. They actually put a video out on Trump, cheating the stock market, they believe. And we also
What a surprise. What a surprise.
And we also got to get into the Epstein. So Tucker Carlson had a guest on. They basically broke down the Epstein Pizzagate. Well, Pizzagate being in the Epstein file coded. They did a video on that, which we're gonna get into as well. So make sure y'all come on in. Make sure y'all double tap the screen, like this video. All right, shout out to y'all in here, Yvonne, Subliminal, Michelle, the girlfriends, Kickback. Shout out to y'all just tuning in. Yes, indeed. So we gotta get into this, man. Let's go ahead and get into this. Hold on now. Let me pull this up. Mr. Donald Trump out here. Not just him, though. They all be into inside trading. But we was calling that out. Even before they even did that. Like last week, we were saying, yo, they just manipulating the market. Not only that, we was calling out, Trump using his meme coin to basically, cheat the market. Coming in with his meme coin, his crypto meme coin, making $350 million just getting in office right off the bat. And then we was talking about Barron Trump, the son, invested in oil right before they went to attack Iran. Yeah, we gonna
and
get
they
into
closed
it.
the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, they closed the Strait.
Or Hormuz, however the hell you say it.
Yep.
Stopping our oil supply.
Yep. So this is put out by the BBC. Said the inside trading suspicious looming over Trump's presidency. This the BBC News. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Make sure y'all double tap the screen, like the video. Let's get into it.
Now, the BBC has found a pattern of spikes in trades and financial markets ahead of public announcements by US President Donald Trump, including during the Iran war. It's raised suspicions of insider trading, whereby bets are made by people based on information that is not available to the general public. Though some have argued certain traders have become more adept at anticipating the president's interventions. Let's talk to our business correspondent, Nick Marsh, for more on this. Nick, tell us what you found.
Well, quite a lot of examples of these spikes, Sally. I'll just give you the first one I found, and one of the most prominent ones is on the 23rd of March. Trump had spent the weekend preceding that threatening Iran's power plants, much like he is now. But then suddenly, on the Monday morning, before the stock market opened in the US, he said that the United States had had very good and productive conversations with Tehran over a complete and total resolution to hostilities. That's what he posted on Truth Social. So then oil drops by 14%, which is understandable. You go back, though, and look at the trading volume data, and you see a massive spike in the number of oil futures contracts exchanged between about 14 to 16 minutes before the post. And
that's what we've been saying. Every little keyword he might tweet on his Truth Social is there to manipulate the market. It triggers the market. Every time he says a certain word, and only the inside traders know it, is in on it. Only the inside traders know what key words he's saying that's going to spike the market. So that's how they manipulate. They all in on it. They all robbing from the people, period. We've been explaining that to y'all forever. That's what they've been doing. So yeah, the BBC is investigating Trump for manipulating the stock market, which they all do it anyway. But let's continue.
Hundreds of millions of dollars, and those traders will have made a huge amount of money through what's known as
What he said, let me
short
bring it
selling.
back.
That's just into 16 minutes before the post.
Let me bring
That's
it back a little bit more.
later, and you see a massive spike in the number of oil futures contracts exchanged between about 14 to 16 minutes before the post. That's hundreds of millions of dollars, and those traders will have made a huge amount of money through what's known as short selling. That's just one example of quite a few that I found, Sally.
And Nick, you've also been looking at these prediction markets, which have exploded in popularity in the past couple of years.
Yeah, so the two main ones really are Polymarket and Kalshi. You might have heard about them. They're websites powered by blockchain. You can bet on anything really, from the weather to baseball to US foreign policy. It's like a very simple yes or no mechanism, whether something will happen or not. Donald Trump's son, by the way, Donald Trump Jr., is an investor in Polymarket. He sits on its advisory board as well as on Kalshi's advisory board. We have contacted him, incidentally, but no response. But yes, on these predictions markets, people have been making an awful lot of money around American military action around the world. For example, I saw one user called Burdensome Mix set up an account on Polymarket in December last year. And between the 30th of December and the 2nd of January, this account placed $32,000 on Nicolas Maduro, the Venezuelan president, being ousted. The next day, he was seized by U.S. Special Forces.
You see that? He said $32,000 was placed on, as a bet, basically saying he's going to get the Venezuela president out of power. And that's the type of manipulation they do. So they're investigating and seeing all the moves that's being made around Trump going into Iran or them invading other countries. Like, this is all about manipulating the stock market and also taking over resources.
And the account made nearly $500,000. Then it changed its name and hasn't placed a bet since. There are also similar bets being placed on US strikes on Iran, for example. We spoke to Polymarket. It told the BBC that it sets and maintains and enforces the highest standards of market integrity. And it said that it proactively works with law enforcement to do so. And in March this year, both Polymarket and Kalshi outlined new rules to crack down on insider trading.
And what about the White House? What has the response been from the White House to these allegations?
No response when I contacted them. Spokespeople in the past have made it clear that they do strenuously deny any form of insider trading involving the White House. There was one who told another outlet last month it didn't tolerate any administration official illegally profiteering off of insider knowledge. There's always the possibility, Sally, that traders are getting better at predicting when Trump will make a U-turn or market conditions signal he might intervene in some way. Traders get ahead of that. You can't rule that out. But it's the consistency of these spikes, and it's how often it happens before Trump says something that's got people raising eyebrows.
Okay, Nick, thank you very much indeed. Nick.
Yeah, they manipulating the stock market like crazy surrounding this Iran war. Both markets.
That's what most of this is about.
Yeah, the crypto market and the stock market.
That's what most of this is about. It's about the manipulation of the market because they're about to change financial systems. We about to go digital. They already got the stablecoin bill through, and they about to get the Clarity Act through, and they got to build the infrastructure for digital currencies. They ain't switch to digital currencies. It's a whole new playing field, y'all. So what they're doing is they're preparing. And then the way they do that, they're able to buy everything up, pennies on the dollar, because they keep threatening war. Trump keep threatening to blow up Iran. He's doing all this other stuff just so he can manipulate the market, because the market goes of war. He knows that, everybody else knows that, and he know when he's going to make the threat of war. So he's like, all right, he already got his traders and inside traders in place to do the trading. Right before he says he's going to go to war with this country or invade that country or the country's next. Because just by saying Greenland is next or some shit like that, that'll plummet the market.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
a
he'd
key.
be there to capitalize. He'd be there to capitalize off of it. That's the type of shit that they do.
Right.
And they all do this. Don't just think that
Right.
Trump is all them presidents did it. You had the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, she did it like up to kazoo. Like they all do that shit. All of them. But you could go Bush, Obama. It don't matter who it is. They all manipulate the market. That's why a lot of these politicians, when they get in the office, they be worth like 280,000, 585,000. Yeah, I mean, that's how much they be worth. But when they leave office, 30 million, 50 million. They net worth go up to 60, 70, 80 million. They be in that motherfucker for a couple of years. Go in there with 580K a year to making to 80 million, making damn near 10, 20 million a year. All right? They do that because all the inside trading, all the lobbying, all that shit that they do, all that corrupt, crooked shit that they do to make sure they basically come up and their friends come up. Because that's all Trump is doing. He in there taking care of himself and his friends. Him and his cronies. They all getting rich right now. And they all do it, whether Democrat or Republican. All these politicians do that. All of them.
All right, so here's another one. MS Now put out corruption is growing, question inside trading amid Iran loom over Trump's administration. So this is another one he put out. Let me know if y'all can hear this. Somebody say making up shit. No, ain't no man. You was a bot coming in here, agent bot coming in here saying we making up stuff. We literally
how are we making it up?
They're literally being investigated for the inside trading, but we already know that's what they've been doing. They've been doing inside trading. Shit, you could watch the movie Trading Places, and that should give you insight on that. The movie with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy, Trading Places. They was manipulating the market on there. So let's continue.
If you have been watching this show, you know we have been paying very close attention to questions of possible insider trading amid the Iran war. And if you think we don't cover it, I invite you to watch more often. In fact, questions we have been asking since Liberation Day are all around this when it comes to trading activity. Now, finally, regulators appear to be paying attention too. Bloomberg reports that the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, is now investigating at least 2 instances where a surge in suspiciously well-timed trades occurred just minutes before our president changed his public position on the war. That is according to people familiar with the matter. There has been a growing concern over multiple instances of spiked oil trades shortly before major policy announcements. Bloomberg notes that the CFTC and Intercontinental Exchange declined to comment on the investigation, and a White House spokesperson referred the comment to the CFTC. For more, I want to bring in Josh Rogan, lead global security analyst with WP Intelligence. Ron and Dan still here. Josh, I'm so glad you are joining us. You have been following this issue closely. What have you found?
Right. Well, for months, there have been suspicions that insiders have been leaking inside information about Trump's announcements in the war to trade on prediction markets like Polymarket and Kalshi to the tune of millions of dollars. And now what we've seen is an escalation of that strategy where insiders seem to be trading on futures markets and options markets to the tune of billions of dollars. And what's crazy about that is that in the April 17th, $760 million worth of oil futures were traded within a 2-minute span, exactly 20 minutes before a major announcement.
And guess what? Barron Trump, the son of Donald Trump, invested 30 million of that right before the announcement. Yes, Donald Trump's son himself. So you know that they definitely in on it. Because why would Barron Trump invest 30 million himself in the oil before they make that announcement? Yeah, let's continue.
Came in the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, which wasn't even a real opening, but that's besides the point. And in that corruption lies a bunch of crimes that the CTFC and the SEC and the DOJ could spend years trying to investigate. But the bottom line is that the corruption is endemic, it's systemic, and it's growing. And it's not only affecting those markets, it's affecting the entire oil markets and the entire stock market, because the scale of these illicit trades and suspected insider trading has gotten so large that no one's ever seen anything like it.
In a statement, the CME Group defended itself, and they went on to say the following: any review of market behavior must include all venues, including prediction markets like Polymarket and Kalshi. And we should note the current CFTC said is a Trump appointee who has publicly sided with the prediction markets. Don Jr. is an investor / advisor to both Kalshi and Polymarket. Josh, what is your expectation from this investigation? Because it blows my mind that the CME basically says it's not just me, it's those guys too. Almost you can't point at me for underage drinking at this party. Look in the backyard, we've all been partying all night.
Right, but just because the crimes are rampant doesn't mean that they're not crimes, first of all. And the second thing is that, you know, the context that you laid out is exactly right. We have an administration that's gutted public accountability, and, you know, the SEC main enforcement prosecutor resigned in protest because they weren't allowed to investigate cases related to the Trump organization and Trump associates. And the public integrity unit of the DOJ has been slashed from 36 lawyers to 2. Okay, under Trump. So the CTFC can announce an investigation, but there's just not a lot of confidence out there in Wall Street or in Congress, for that matter, that they're going to get to the bottom of this, because it's obvious that the president is not interested in this kind of accountability. And yeah, sure, you could point to Polymarket and Kalshi, but again, those are millions of dollars, and the futures trading corruption is billions of dollars. So it's an order of magnitude worse, but they're both corruptions, and you know, in a sense, they both need to be investigated. And it just seems like our oversight and accountability mechanisms in their current state are not up to the task. But I mean, fingers crossed, I guess.
Yeah, and I would also argue, yes, this is the worst we've ever seen. But make no mistake, members of Congress on both sides of the aisle, on every possible committee you could think of, not all of them, but all sorts of them, trade on an insane amount of inside information. And the worst part about it, it's freaking legal.
And bro, that's what you were saying. They be worth like, you know, $2 million going into position, but when they get out of office, they worth like $300 million. Like, how the hell you go from being worth $2 million to being worth, you know, $100 million? Inside trading. That's what she just said. A lot of them people, a lot of them up there in Congress, they be into the inside trading.
And somebody say speaking engagements. They make all that money off books, writing books and speaking engagement. Ain't that much money in the world off no goddamn speaking engagement, off no books. The hell out here. They ain't making no 200 million, 300 million off no damn speaking engagements. Come on, man. We know a lot of that's going on is inside trading.
Yeah, whoever said that just clearly just do not know what's going on. Or care to know. Or care to know the truth.
Yeah, some people don't care to
face
know
the truth. Don't care to know the truth, or just you know, just go by whatever's being told.
You know what I realized, fam? There's some people born on this planet and they just don't have a mind of their own, no matter what. Because anybody in this day and age with a mind of their own will be able to see right through all of that BS. We know everything that's coming from our government is usually a lie and is corrupt. I mean, and it's only there to control the masses. That's why they call it government, because they governing your mental. They govern your mental. Government. Governmental. That's what they're doing. And all they do is feed your mental with a bunch of fear mongering, a bunch of corruption. You know, that's all they do. That's all they do. Everything is lies. Everything that come out of the government mouth is a lie. You can't believe none of it. Then they force the media. The media is supposed to be like free press. Like, it's supposed to be like freedom of speech and shit like that. But then the government forced the media to say certain things because they say, oh, it's a threat to national security. And all just to be covering up. They just tell them not to say certain things because they want to cover up crimes. Because that's mainly what the government do, is cover up crimes. They want to make us think that they're doing it for our safety, for national security. But really, they just covering up crimes. You know what proved that? Epstein. Epstein proved.
Yeah, nobody went to jail.
All that Epstein shit proved that they just trying to cover up their crimes. That's all that's about. And Trump was one of the main ones.
They don't even investigate nobody. They're not even doing any investigations from the Epstein files, which we actually gonna get into the next segment, which we're gonna get into when we get into the next segment, that the Pizzagate thing was, it wasn't even investigated. There's no type of investigation going on with the Epstein files coming out, rather redacted or not redacted. Let's continue with this
on
though.
this.
So this is very interesting. This is a violation.
Yeah,
that's
it's
called
interesting.
The Eddie Murphy rule. This has come from the movie Trading Places, where Duke and
Hey, didn't I just mention that? I didn't even
Yep.
see this part before I mentioned that. Yeah, Trading Places. For the idiot that came here and say we just making stuff up, I had mentioned Trading Places before I even seen this, and they mentioned Trading Places because that's what they was doing in the movie Trading Places. They was manipulating the market.
Those are agents that's coming. Bots
Go
and
back a little bit.
agents.
All right.
Trade on
Like-
an insane amount of inside information, and the worst part about it, it's freaking legal. What's your take on this?
So this is very interesting. This is a violation.
Yeah,
that's
it's
called
interesting.
The Eddie Murphy rule. This has come from the movie Trading Places, where Duke and Duke were.
Oh my God.
No, this is real. This is part of the Dodd-Frank Act. The Eddie Murphy
I'm going to
rule.
play Jamie Lee Curtis.
You're gonna-
Dan's going to be Dan Aykroyd, and you can be Eddie Murphy.
Okay, fine. But you cannot trade by rule of Dodd-Frank on any inside material, non-public information that is given by the government or taken from the government, and then trade in the futures market in the CFTC, which is what happened in Trading Places. There was illicit activity going on there. So this is an alleged violation of that rule, which, if investigated and enforced, would be punishable both civilly and criminally. But
If.
Yeah, I take a little issue. Like CME Group, this is the largest futures exchange in the planet, and integrity is really important, right? If folks don't think that this is a platform or this is an exchange where there are rules, right, and they're going to be monitored, that sort of thing, they're highly regulated. And their point about Kalshi and Polymarket, you guys saw John Oliver last night. He trashed these guys. There's no regulation. The people running these markets, they don't even know what they're, really, they were made to look like idiots. Like, I don't know if you guys saw that bit last night. I mean, they go round and round in circles. I don't think they have a good handle on how markets should trade. And if you're going to actually, has inside information and you kind of get on, this is not a market where there's two sides in a way where you have highly regulated people on both sides of it. So the CME and ICE, they'll get to the bottom of this. They need to, because integrity for their markets are really important. I don't think you can say the same thing about Kalshi.
Okay, Ron, here's the issue with that.
I don't think the exchanges will give anybody up.
Here's the issue with that. I interviewed the heads of Kalshi and Polymarket at a live event, and it's like they were laughing in my face. They were looking at me like, okay, boomer, laughing their way to the bank. As the biggest investors on the street have given these boys and girls money, they think, as long as this is, it's just like, they're like, yep, until somebody makes the rules, we're just going to run and run and run. So are they going to win this game? Because they're laughing at us.
You need enforcement. You need,
by whom?
Again,
Congress.
Well, in this administration, you would need enforcement from the Commodity Futures Trading Commission that the DOJ would support, that the Trump administration would support, and you have Kalshi, which is now worth $22 billion. It's become a rather large entity in a very short time. My guess is that absolutely nothing happened.
Okay, quick before.
Nothing was going to happen because they're not going to investigate themselves and penalize themselves for inside trading. Guess we got to realize. So that, yeah, of course, nothing is going to happen because that's what they're not going to investigate themselves and penalize themselves and lock themselves up.
You know what's crazy about this? The media pick and choose who they want to go after, because all these powerful people and all these politicians do the same thing. They all do insider trading. Every last one of them. They got access to certain government, information that allow them to have inside trading information. Because a lot of the market is dictated by regulatory stuff and all that the government do. So they easily able to manipulate markets because they the government. And they all help themselves to it. Every last one of them. And a lot of the businesses and stuff, they be all the private contractors, it be the politicians and their families with those they give themselves and their families big contracts. So they give themselves billions of dollars, for government contracts, whether it's to build a fake space station or for war, the military industrial complex, all of that. They make money off of that, and they make money off the market. Every last one of them. It's crazy. And the media only pick and choose who they want to go after. And it's only agenda. It's like it's agenda. Like if they got an agenda to take this politician down or that person down, then all the dirt will come out. But they all guilty of it. And it's like a bunch of hypocrites. And they all need to go down. Like when they was standing up there with Hillary and Trump was standing up there arguing about the crimes that they did. Like y'all both right. Yeah, y'all both commit those same crimes. And even worse. For y'all, it's like Trump and Hillary for prison. Because you remember Trump ran his whole campaign on making sure the people on the Epstein list was locked up and making sure Hillary went to jail.
Yeah, for the emails, right?
Yeah, for that, for the Benghazi shit, everything.
Shit,
Yep, all that shit that he said she should go to jail over. Did any of that happen? No.
No.
You know why it didn't happen. It didn't happen because they all in on it.
Right.
And it's all just entertainment for us while they take all the, you know, all the resources behind the scenes and just acting like they fighting each other in front of us. It's insane.
All right, so this was the Fox Business with the Deadlock on Clarity Act risk to freeze out amid the amid policy fight. So let's get into this real quick, because you know they still waiting to pass the Clarity Act in the Senate. It was already passed in the House, so now they just waiting to pass it in the Senate. But the deadline, I think the deadline of it is July. I think the July 20 something. But let's go ahead and get into this real quick.
Yeah, ain't no sound on my end.
Ain't no sound? All right. All right, let me reshare it real quick. All right. Share this. It's kind of slow, a little something. All right.
Welcome back. Let's check crypto this morning, and we see Bitcoin at 74,630. We want to talk about policy. The Clarity Act facing a critical deadline. Just weeks left to advance the Clarity Act before the legislative calendar tightens. The crypto bill, which passed the House last year, has remained stalled in the Senate over stablecoin rewards. The White House signaling progress as negotiators work to clear those remaining hurdles. Top crypto advisor Patrick Witt says a compromise on stablecoin yields is holding a key step toward moving this bill forward, though it still needs a Senate committee hearing before it can advance to a full vote. White House economists say allowing stablecoin rewards would have only a minimal impact on bank lending, and we won't see a huge move out of deposit accounts, pushing back industry concerns. Joining me now is the Chief Policy Officer of Coinbase, Faryar Shirzad, with me once again. Faryar, great to have you.
Good to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. What's your expectation on the markup of this bill?
I think we feel great about it. You know, there's been a lot of really good work that's taken place since the Banking Committee initially tried to do the markup a couple of months ago. We've been working on an issue regarding stablecoin rewards, which we think is really critical. All of those are, I think, resolving themselves. So we're hopeful that Chairman Scott will be able to schedule a markup as early as this month. We'll be able to get to the floor in May and get the president and Congress another big bipartisan win.
So explain once again, remind our audience what the main issue is. I mean, the crypto platforms want to be able to pay a reward for those people who have crypto money or stablecoin in their accounts.
That's
right. The banks are saying, look, if you offer like pay people, it's like, you know, the banks used to give us toasters, right? If you're going to pay people money to put their money in the crypto platform, well, then they're going to take their money out of traditional bank accounts.
That's right. That's what the allegation is. Really interestingly, the Council of Economic Advisors at the White House put out a very academic study. They did essentially a research review of all the analysis that's been done on this issue. There's no evidence that there's going to be deposit flight as a result of stablecoins. So I think that issue substantively has been put to bed, but it's still a political problem because the bank lobby groups are trying to fight stablecoins. But basically the issue was when Congress passed the stablecoin bill, the Genius Act, last year, one of the big things they were trying to do is to bring stablecoins from an offshore market onto the U.S. There's about $300 billion of stablecoins in circulation. 220 billion of which are issued outside the United States, subject to rules other than the U.S. And so the goal of Genius was to bring that market in. Rewards are a critical part of that. So we've been defending the president's initiative, defending the policy underlying the bill, trying to make sure that stablecoins take root in the United States. The banks have been fighting back on that. I think we'll get to a good place on that. The White House, Treasury, the Senator Alsabrook, Senator Tillis, the Banking Committee, Senator Lummis, all of them have been working on it. I think everyone understands we can't get this wrong because we're at a critical moment.
Absolutely, and
we'll
you're in touch with all of them. I mean, you're trying to shape policy at a time that you've got this growing business, 12 different businesses at Coinbase.
Yeah.
Where do you look for the actual big growth story at Coinbase? Is it the everything exchange? Is it the rewards? Tell us where the growth story is.
Well, Coinbase is built on a conviction that the global economy is going to move on chain. So payments, financial activity, all of which are going to be done on chain. The activity that we've seen even over the last year in the U.S. for sure, but even overseas.
When they say chain, meaning the blockchain.
Is sort of proof point of that. And so what Coinbase has done is positioned itself to be a significant player in every bit of that, as an exchange, as a custodian, as an infrastructure provider, providing the premium wallet for self-custody. We have 12 different business lines that each earn over $100 million annually. So we feel really good about having a strong, diversified business, but also being well positioned for what we think is the future of commerce.
And the future of commerce is going to include what we call tokenization.
That's right.
And I want to get your take on this because the IMF is warning that tokenization could bring new risks to the global financial market, saying that automated trading and the so-called smart contracts could amplify volatility, make market shocks harder to contain. The IMF says that they want stronger regulation on tokenization and coordination globally for tokenized assets across borders. How do you do that? And do you think every market will ultimately become tokenized?
We think every market will become tokenized. Think about it. In capital market activity, almost every capital market trade occurs either in what they call T+1, T+2, T+3 settlement, sometimes longer. That means there's a lag between when the deal is struck and when it actually closes out. That intervening period is a period of enormous amounts of risk. Token-based capital market activity compresses the settlement period, allows for instantaneous settlement, public incorruptible recordation of ownership. All of this is better for a healthier, more resilient capital market. The SEC chairman, Paul Atkins, the CFTC chairman, Mike Seelig, both understand this. The president has their back, and they're moving to tokenize the markets. And that's really exciting. It's exciting for us as a crypto company, but it's really, more importantly, good for the American people because we'll have a better, more resilient financial system, and it'll help with the growth of commerce in the United States.
And we've had.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's what we've been telling y'all. They trying to tokenize everything from entertainment to everything. They trying to tokenize every market, and that's the chief of Coinbase right there. That's where we going in the future. They tokenizing everything: real estate, agriculture, infrastructure. The whole infrastructure is just going to be tokenization. So that's why they trying to pass, the Clarity Act. They already passed the Genius Act implementing the stable coin. Now they just trying to, pass the Clarity Act to basically put some regulations to regulate it. But let's get into a quick commercial break. This is sponsored by NightandDayHerbals.com, where we sell natural herbal products from CBD to sea moss to hair care and skincare products. We also have apparel on there as well. So let's get into this quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
If you crave nature but still shop online, Night and Day Herbals is your dream come true. Discover premium herbal soaps, shampoos, and CBD products. All organic, all for you. Shop now at nightandDayHerbals.com.
All right, we got a 30% off sale going on right now at nightandDayHerbals.com on all orders. Whatever you order, you get 30% off. You could actually go to nightandDayHerbals.com, or you can search us at Night and Day Network LLC on Google. You'll see we 5 stars on there. And also all our social media platforms will pop up as well. So make sure you head over there. We have a 30% off sale. at 9dayherbals.com. Also sign up to join the newsletter as well. So you'll know when we sending out discounts or, update on products or whatever. And again, that's 9dayherbals.com. All right, we got to switch gears. We got to get into Pizzagate. All right, Pizzagate. So Tucker Carlson had a guest on his show the other day, and they basically broke down the Pizzagate coded language that's in the Epstein files. They say things in the Epstein files like, I can't wait for us to meet together to have cheese pizza and grape soda and stuff like that. So it's a lot of that coded language in the Epstein emails between these high level execs, these these corporation execs, certain politicians and all. Like it's a little bit of everybody in the Epstein files. So let's go ahead and get into this. So this is Tucker Carlson. Pizzagate fully explained in 12 minutes. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this.
A recap, a basic.
Let me know if y'all can hear this.
Recap of what this Pizzagate theory was and what we actually know about that story.
Yeah, it's another one of those stories that was distorted by the apparent cover-up, or at least distorted by the media's response to it, which was very much a straw man style response, in that these emails get dumped online full of everything that was in John Podesta's life. And John Podesta is a very powerful and connected man. And there was lots of stuff in those emails that was overtly concerning, politically concerning, geopolitically concerning. But people on the internet then started to notice these strange pizza messages, messages about, $40,000 worth of hot dogs or something like that being flown to DC for parties. Things that are just like, wait a minute. You think about it for just a moment and you realize that does not make sense. And overt references to children too. Like these kids ages like 7, 8, and 9, or I forget the exact ages, will be in the pool and it'll be heated and they will be there for, it's like, wait, what are we talking about? So people started to dig into what these weird emails were. And then they started to dig into the fact that there's certain pizza places referenced a lot, places where these people are going and hosting parties. They start to notice that this one pizza place in particular, Comet Ping Pong, which was a pizza place right in the heart of DC that was run by a very politically connected DC insider, boyfriend to the founder or owner of Media Matters. A bunch of strange coincidences. They start to notice all these strange coincidences around this pizza shop. And they notice that the Instagram of this pizza shop is full of very disturbing images of children. Things like children taped to tables, things like commenters talking about rape and sexual abuse, things like comments about kill rooms, and just so much disturbing imagery on a public Instagram account for a public pizza place that has photos of like Obama having pizza at it. That in these emails, Podesta is talking about going and having, lunch at this pizza place with all these very high level political people. And it started to get very strange. And so Pizzagate itself spiraled out into a lot of questions and concerns and genuine investigation. But then it got distorted by the media response, which felt a lot like an immune response to a dangerous virus. And the media response then packaged up all of these very legitimate questions that never got answered. And it repackaged it as these crazy people on the internet think that Hillary Clinton personally is running. She's the top. She's the head of a satanic pedophile cabal. And the whole thing is being run out of the basement of this pizza place. That you see like the absurdity of the sort of wrapper they put around this, which no one was claiming that. No one was claiming that Hillary was running it. No one was claiming that it was all out of the basement of this pizza. They were just asking a lot of questions about very legitimate, strange things. And then a very weird event happened where, as the media is running this big kind of smear campaign on these questions, a guy conveniently walks into that pizza place with an AR gun and shoots the place up doesn't hit anybody, but manages to shoot a bullet straight through the hard drive that's in the back room somehow, and gets arrested by police very publicly. They have a big photo shoot, and he gives a couple of sound bites as they're hauling him off that are something to the effect of, I was so convinced that it was all real and that it was all here, and it's just not, or something. And so it's like, wow, that is sure convenient. That good thing that Hillary Clinton's not personally running a giant satanic pedophile ring out of the basement of this pizzeria, which no one was alleging. And that was sort of became the wrap-up smear, as you know, Nancy Pelosi has described to us in the past how a wrap-up smear works, where you wrap a problematic narrative up in a false representation of it, and then you have something crazy happen, dangerous, crazy, objectionable happen around that. So then you can look at it and say, that's dangerous. These conspiracy theories are dangerous. And anyone that engages in these conspiracy theories is dangerous. So we can censor them all off the internet because it's been debunked. Don't pay attention to the fact that the guy that owns the pizza place that has the images of children on their Instagram is the boyfriend of the guy that runs Media Matters, who is one of the primary debunkers of these things. So those are the sorts of weird things that happened around the breaking of Pizzagate, and no one ever got any answers. No one in government ever took it seriously. And all those emails are still out there floating. They're harder to find these days, but they're still out there. And the Instagram accounts were preserved in various formats online, archived. So you can still find a lot of the evidence, but it's a lot harder to verify now, because you do make a great point about the current email release that a lot of bullshit gets mixed in and a lot of stuff of questionable veracity gets mixed in. And so you have to be very careful about sourcing it all, especially 10 years down the line with something like Pizzagate. But
may I ask, do you know if it's true, and I believe it is, but so the man you just referred to who shot up Comet Pizza in Washington, which by the way was like very close to my house where I brought my children there because it was the pizza place in my neighborhood, which the whole thing is so weird. One of the reasons I didn't take it seriously, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's on Connecticut Avenue. It's right. Too close to it. But the guy who shot it up, who seemed a little bit off, right, was just shot to death last month, right before these emails were released, by police in North Carolina, who pulled him over apparently on suspicion that he was a fugitive of some kind. I don't think that he was. They said he reached for a gun and two cops killed him. That same guy was killed right before the document release. Is that true?
I heard the same reporting. Obviously, at this point, I don't really know what's true. The whole world feels a little bit like the Matrix, but yes, I read the same reporting. And the nuance was not lost on me. But I don't know about you or anyone else, but I was in no way expecting to find pizza references in the Epstein files, even though I had dug deeply into the Pizzagate stuff. And even though we know that Jeffrey Epstein is a human trafficker that is, trafficking in the same things that Pizzagate would allege gets pizza references, it just never occurred. I wasn't expecting any pizza references. So it kind of blew my mind when suddenly there's like 800 and something references to pizza in these emails. And especially you picked out some really, really great one, like obvious ones at the opener there, where, pizza and grape soda is a very overt pairing that I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone actually eat as a pairing.
Well, and also, these are people, well, first of all, in this exchange, apparently one guy's a physician and the other is Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. And these are health-obsessed people. These are people who talk about getting blood transfusions just to extend their...
Man, they talking about pizza, cheese pizza, and grape soda. Man, first of all, white folks didn't even drink grape soda like that. So that might be coded for little black child. And grape, how we say the R word coded on social media, great G-rate. Y'all can't wait to meet for cheese pizza and grape soda. Yeah, that's definitely coded. That's definitely sex trafficking coded language. Pedophilia coded language. Yes. Come on now.
Lives. And I know as an actual pizza fan that pizza is very unhealthy. I mean, it's been a lifelong struggle for me. Pizza and grape soda, like these are the last things that people who care about their health eat. And these are, there's a whole class of people who are, well, vain for one thing, but who are very focused on themselves and their physical health. And it just sort of, I don't know, it's a lot for me to believe that the one thing that Epstein's friends and John Podesta's friends have in common is they both have a steady diet of pizza and grape soda. Like I just don't believe
And not
it,
only do
right?
they have a steady diet of that, but they feel compelled to email each other about it with very weird verbiage. How many grown men email each other about getting pizza, or
Right.
about how tasty the pizza was, or about how many slices you can slice a pizza up into, or how many people will be at the pizza party? Then there's another email in the current dump that is even it stuck out to me because it has the word red hook in it, which at first I didn't have the context, and it seemed suspicious, the words red hook, where it was someone was emailing asking if another guy can go to Red Hook for a pizza meal later. And then in looking into it, it turns out that Red Hook is the address of where Jeffrey Epstein's Virgin Islands businesses are domiciled. It's on the marina where you would leave in the boat to get to his island. And so then it's almost weirder. Someone was emailing asking if another man can go to where Jeffrey Epstein's business is domiciled for a pizza meal at something. There's a lot of emails like that where people ask if they can use the apartment for a bit, or if we can go get pizza for a few hours or for 30 minutes. That's a Pizzagate reference as opposed to these emails. A lot of these times where they're using food language in ways that does not square with how food actually gets eaten or talked about ever.
Has anyone been asked about this? I mean, is it, a lot of the people in these exchanges, or apparently in these exchanges, are still alive. Some of them are prominent people still, including apparently the doctor in this exchange. Do you know if anyone has just been asked in a straightforward way, what was this?
Not since Pizzagate, as far as I'm aware. I mean, to be fair, it's all a little new. We're still in the first week here, but no, I don't know of anyone being asked directly about any of these references, or about any of the more overt stuff for that matter. The other, very rich and powerful people that are caught with their pants down, so to speak here. A couple of people have issued apologies. A couple of people have, resigned from positions, but it's entirely underwhelming, the official response.
All right, that was Tucker Carlson. Yeah, so we know that grown men talking about pizza and stuff in the email.
Yeah, they definitely speaking in code.
They definitely speaking in
sure.
code, bro. That's definitely coded. Hell yeah. And you see, it was a chart he had.
The thing is, what the people gonna do about it? What the
Yeah,
American people
exactly.
gonna do about it?
Right.
We've been paying taxes to these individuals. You know what I'm saying? Our tax dollars go to funding these individuals because they had Clinton's wrapped up in that, Obama wrapped up in that, Epstein wrapped up in that. All these people is doing this and able to operate off the people's money.
Right.
What are we gonna do about that? What everybody gonna do about that? Nobody ain't mad yet. Y'all ain't mad enough.
Yeah, I don't think people mad enough.
I don't think people mad enough, which is insane.
Yeah, damn, people ain't mad enough.
You getting work like a workhorse just to maintain your basics because they taxing everything quadruple times, 10, 20 times. You getting taxed for the same shit like 10, 20 times and not even realizing it. And that money is going to funding people like Epstein, funding operations like the Comet Pizza and all of that. That's insane. Like, we gotta really, and the person that came in there and shot the pizza joint up, he worked for them. He came in there and shot the hard drive. Nobody got hit, but he shot the hard drive and left out.
How convenient.
And then got killed. A couple years later. Come on, man.
Cover up.
And then you hear Hillary and all of them using that You heard Hillary use that. You heard Fauci use that. You remember Fauci even talked about the guy going up into Comet Pizza, saying that they mentioned his name.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, they try to wrap all that up into like conspiracy theory. And it's like, oh, you see these conspiracy theories are dangerous, but they the ones that sent the dude in there with the gun to shoot everything up. And to make sure he hit the hard drive that possibly had evidence on there. You know, surveillance and all that type of shit. Yeah, it's insane, y'all. This is some crazy stuff. This is like major corruption being exposed, and people are still not out in the streets yet. People still trying to be good little citizens to a corrupt rogue government like this is insane to me.
And they broke down like the symbolism, the pedo codes, symbols and words, like the certain symbols for
This is
girl
disgusting.
lover, boy lover, child lover with the butterfly, semen with the with the mat with the little equal, sperm cells. Then you got sauce equals, porgy, hot dog is boy, pizza is girl, pasta is little boy, cheese is little girl, walnuts is children of color, chicken is young boy. So this is the symbolism words that they use, and when they speak in their coded language, when they communicate with each other. And a lot of that shit was in the Epstein files. The whole jerky, there was like human jerky, like beef jerky or something like that.
They saying that was talking about cannibalism. They said Woody
Cannibalism.
Allen. They said Woody Allen was the actor Woody Allen was writing back and forth to Epstein.
Yeah, he's in the
talking about
he's in the
they
files.
going to eat jerky. All
Yeah,
I've been eating is jerky.
yeah. There's actually a video of Woody Allen and his stepdaughter wife. I call him stepdaughter / wife, walking down the street and stuff together. So yeah, he's definitely one of Epstein's close friends.
They ain't just showing walking down the street together. They showed him basically coming out of Epstein's Manhattan mansion.
Yeah, right.
Like he was
Crazy.
literally, yeah, they actually seen Woody Allen coming out of Epstein's Manhattan mansion on many occasions. Like they were close, like that. I mean, it's the same thing with Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was very close to Epstein. Epstein was very close to a lot of powerful people within inside the United States government. Let's just put it like that. So it's all coming together. It's all making sense. It's all coming together. Like we starting to see the big picture now. It seems like all of these politicians and business execs and all this type of shit, these Fortune 500 company owners, it seems like they all into this creepy shit. They all into it. And the one guy that could connect them all together is all of a sudden dead in his cell. Epstein. And then you still got Ghislaine out there. Ghislaine was managing Epstein.
Yeah, she not talking.
And she not talking because you already know what's gonna happen. Yeah, she ain't trying to get taken out.
Yeah, she's not talking. But she said in the interview that she don't believe Epstein killed himself. So she knew him the best. So she said he didn't even have that type of personality where he or that type of characteristics that he off himself. So she's saying she don't believe that he offed himself. So it's either someone crept in there and took him out, or they simply just help him escape out the back door.
Right out the back door, bro. Right out the back door. And then he reemerged as Palm Beach Pete, because that's definitely him.
Yeah, with slight surgery. Yep.
That Palm Beach Pete character, that's definitely Epstein, y'all. And the thing is, they do that shit right in front of our faces because they know that the general public, most of us are still asleep. Most of us, they know they can play like that in our faces because nobody's gonna do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Like he's like this dude. What are the odds? He got all his houses is exactly where Epstein houses are from. The guy flies in a private jet. He looked exactly like Epstein, even down to his teeth. Like, you know how you can identify, like, if a person's body get burnt up, one of the ways they identify people is through their dental records. This dude, because dental records are usually, you know, it's almost like fingerprints. Everybody got different. It's different for everybody. So that right there will tell you this dude got literally the same teeth, the same shape structure as Epstein. Dude, that's Epstein. That's
Not
him.
only that, he's in
That's
places where
him, bro.
Epstein is at, though.
That's why I
Like,
said his. That's
yeah,
why I said
yeah.
his houses, his house in Palm Beach, his mansion in Manhattan. Yeah, he got all the same shit that Epstein in the same exact locations. Yeah, that's him.
And look how they trying to make a mockery out of the Epstein shit with this Palm Beach Beach character, Pete
Right.
character. Like, you
Right.
see how they trying to make him into like a celebrity where the
Mm-hmm.
people he loved by the people. You see how
Yeah, I see that.
you see how that's being
He out
presented?
there taking pictures. He out there
Yeah.
taking selfies with people, and people going up to him, shaking his hand, and
Look, it's
you
bouncing
know,
people out there.
giving him love and hugging on him and all. Yeah, all types of crazy shit. I see him, and that's Epstein. They doing that too. Like, United States is literally the representative of the corrupt nations in the Bible, like the Sodom and Gomorrah and all that. Like, United States is literally that. Like, this is the worst. Like, we the worst. How can we make this person a celebrity for looking like a creep like Epstein? And the fact that it is possibly is the craziest part about all of this. Man, I'm done. This shit is over, y'all. I'm done. I give up. This shit's over. We might as well just it's over.
They really
They
made this
making this
Palm Beach
creep
beat guy
over.
a mockery. Like, they that's insane, ain't it? That's
This is
insane.
over. It's no point to this anymore. It's literally all vain. They look, they making this dude a celebrity because he looked like
Yeah,
a creep. He looked
because he
like the
looked like
creep
Epstein.
Epstein.
That's crazy.
They're praising someone who looks like
He
a
was on
known
Jimmy
pedo.
Kimmel. Yeah, he was on Jimmy Kimmel getting, and that's where most of his following came from when he went on Jimmy Kimmel. And Jimmy Kimmel had him on there. It was like, yeah, would you be interested in playing Epstein in the film? He's like, yeah, I'll play Epstein or
He's
anything.
gonna play himself
Yeah,
in the film.
yeah, that's the
That's
crazy mockery.
Epstein, y'all.
Crazy mockery. Crazy mockery.
That's literally Epstein. That's literally him. The dude got the same voice, the same eyes, hair, head, lips, face, facial structure, teeth, the same private jets, the same mansion in the same locations. The Palm Beach and freaking Manhattan. Look, nah, man, this is crazy. Like, this dude is right in front of our faces, and he just walking the streets freely and getting love on the streets. And he's a pedophile creep. Bro, this is over, y'all. I'm sorry, but this shit is over. If a person like this don't get, if there's no justice for those victims and this person is still walking the street like this, y'all can't tell me that karma exists. Y'all cannot tell me that shit exists. This dude is literally walking the street free. And this is Epstein. This is clearly Epstein. Like, this is Epstein walking the street freely. And they told us he killed himself in 2019, and he's literally out and about getting love on the streets. A known pedophile getting love on the streets. I don't know what the hell. This whole damn nation about to go to hell at this point. Like, we're finished, y'all. This shit is finished. This shit is finished. Look at this. We're finished. Look at this dude. They surrounding him with love. And that's Epstein.
Yeah, that's insane, ain't it?
Oh my gosh. We praising that now. Look how low we are to allow this to happen. They out there. Look at these people out here. Look at them. Look all them losers out there. Look, they got their hands all over them. Look, he can't even get through the crowd without getting touched and filmed. Look. Look, they smiling and happy.
And the
This
thing
shit
is, even if that
crazy.
wasn't, even if that wasn't Epstein, why would someone even still get praised as a celebrity for looking like a creep, a pedophile, sex trafficking murderer? You mean to tell me somebody can get famous off looking like a murderer? But that's this America. That's how America is, regardless.
Bro, this shit is
I
over,
wanted to
man.
get into this real quick because I don't think we ever touched on this, which Megyn Kelly actually pointed out that the security guard that night um testified that she was basically receiving mysterious payments in her bank account, like just large amounts of money in her bank account. Um, and then like, all right, is that paid? That's basically payoffs for turning, a blind eye to the Epstein. That night Epstein was either crept out of there or someone snuck in there and killed him. But I wanted to get into this real quick. Make sure y'all double tapping the screen and liking this video too. Make sure y'all get the likes up. Double tap the
Like
screen, like
and
this video,
share
and
this
share it.
video.
You get the likes up. Double tap the screen.
Okay, so now we've got to talk about the bombshell that dropped on the Jeffrey Epstein investigation this week, which is, I know that word gets overused, but this is truly a bombshell. The prison guard, one of the two prison guards that was on duty the night he allegedly killed himself, has been caught lying about what went on that night. And it turns out she was receiving mysterious deposits into her bank account for months prior to his death, to the tune of thousands and thousands of dollars. All right, I'm going to get specific on the numbers, but it's a total of, I think, $11,880. 7 cash deposits, to the point where the bank flagged the deposits as, quote, suspicious activity to the FBI in November of 2019. Epstein died August 10th, 2019. This is a crazy, crazy story, you guys. All right, so the FBI just released documents pertaining to the investigation. And they show that one of Epstein's, reading here from the New York Post exclusive, one of Epstein's guards Googled, this is the other piece of it, Epstein minutes before he was found dead, and also made a mysterious $5,000 cash deposit 10 days before his alleged suicide, per new DOJ documents. All right, so she was getting some almost $12,000, but just 10 days before he died, she made a $5,000 cash deposit. This is a prison guard. They're not rolling in dough. $5,000 is a lot of cash
Yeah, where they getting
for
that
her to
type of money
mysteriously
from?
deposit 10 days before his death. Her name is Toya Noel. She was one of the 2 Metropolitan Correctional Center workers accused of falsifying records to say that she and the other guy checked on Epstein throughout the night before his August 10th, 2019 suicide. What'd you say, Steve? Tova Noel. The guards were both fired because they said they checked on him, and they didn't, and he was dead. But the criminal charges against them were later dropped. However, the investigation against them showed a lot, and there's a real question about whether those criminal charges should have been dropped and whether they were the correct charges in any event. It's not about falsifying records exactly. It might be about, did you willingly look the other way, allow someone in, or facilitate his death in any way? The guards, this one guard, Tova Noel, Googled right before he died, latest on Epstein in jail. That was at 5:42 a.m. And then again at 5:52 a.m. So within 10 minutes of one another, she had that search, latest on Epstein in jail. Why does she need to Google that? Why don't you get your fat ass up, walk down the hallway, and take a damn look? Was she looking to see whether something had broken, whether somebody else had broken news? This was less than 40 minutes before her colleague, correctional officer Michael Thomas, found Epstein dead in his cell by hanging at 6:30 a.m. Was she expecting something to happen 40 minutes later or sometime around when she was Googling latest? Why does the guard responsible for keeping an eye on him have to Google what the latest is on him, quote, in jail?
Yeah, so she must have been given some type of information beforehand,
Yep.
like weeks beforehand. Because if she had money showing up in her account, prior to Epstein's death, that means she was already being basically paid and coursed to basically turn a blind eye to Epstein, either offing himself or getting snuck out the back door. So where was she mysteriously getting this money from? $11,000, 7 payments, up equaling up to $11,000. We know security guards don't make that much. But then you was Googling Epstein 10 minutes before he died. Why would you Googling Epstein? Why would you? Yeah, exactly.
Because they wanted to know exactly who that was.
Who he was, right?
Yep. That someone's willing to pay them all this money to turn a blind eye to.
Right.
Because that's basically what happened. It's crazy because the show Blacklist is actually a couple of episodes on there exactly like that. It's like that show is literally about Epstein and shit and the people that he worked with, which would be on the blacklist. Yeah, that's some crazy shit how they just put all that shit in the movies and the TV series, and they just parade it in front of our faces like, look what we doing. Then they come up with this Palm Beach Pete character after Epstein is dead, and all of a sudden he coincidentally lives in the same parts of town that Epstein lived in Florida and New York, and he flies a private jet, and he looks exactly like him. Come on, man. They doing all this shit in front of our face, y'all. Like, it's like we're just like they just playing us for fools. That's what's going on. We're being bamboozled.
Yeah,
Ran them up.
After we listen to this, we're gonna finish because I got some other shit I want to pull up too.
This is highly suspicious. This is per an FBI record of her internet search history. This is crazy stuff. Earlier in that shift, this Tova Noel, who's 37, shopped for furniture online and snoozed on the job instead of making the mandated checks on Epstein every 30 minutes, while Thomas perused motorcycles, according to prosecutors. The FBI highlighted the internet search in its 66-page forensic examination of the Bureau of Prisons desktop computers of Noel and Thomas. It was the only search highlighted. When questioned during her sworn statement to the DOJ in 2021, Noel denied Googling Epstein. So she lied, which is a federal crime. It is a crime to lie to federal investigators, which she clearly did when she denied Googling Epstein, notwithstanding the fact that she had Googled, quote, latest on Epstein in jail at 5:42 a.m. and then again at 5:52 a.m. Her answer was, quote, I don't remember doing that. She said FBI records were not accurate. I don't recall looking him up. Now, meantime, on the cash deposits, Chase Bank, and pay attention here on the timeline, flagged cash deposits in her bank account in a suspicious activity report to the FBI in November 2019, another file from the DOJ revealed. Again, he died August 10th, 2019, so this would have been a couple months later. Chase Bank flagging cash deposits into her account. It turned out a total of 12 deposits had been made, culminating in the largest one for $5,000 11 days before he died, July 30th, 2019, for $5,000.
Wow.
So 10 or 11, depending on how you count it, days before Epstein died. But here's the weird thing. And then they show 7 cash deposits, a total of 12 were made, culminating in the largest for $5,000. 7 cash, totaling $11,880. So in total, she got almost 12 grand, 5,000 of which came 10 days before he died. And here's what's really weird. She didn't start working in the special housing unit where Epstein was held until July 7th, 2019, which is weeks before his death.
He was
But the
planted there.
deposits began in April 2019. Sorry, April 2018. So she started getting this money in April of 2018. It wasn't until November 2018 that the Miami Herald even dropped its massive report on Epstein. So she starts getting the deposits in April. Then in November, Julie K. Brown drops the big piece in the Miami Herald that would lead to all the trouble for Epstein. Then Epstein was arrested a few months after that. And then in July, you get a $5,000 deposit into her account. And in August, she's working at the special housing unit and he dies. And she was pushed. So she gets moved to the special housing unit July 7th, 2019. And July 30th, 2019, she deposits $5,000 cash. Maybe the two deposits or some of the deposits are unrelated. If she was paid off, right? How could the person giving her money in April of 2018 before the Miami Herald piece have known that he was going to be arrested by New York prosecutors? Well, I mean, federal prosecutors in New York, and that he was going to be arrested and that he's going to be in her housing unit and that she hadn't even been moved to yet? That seems far-fetched. But it is suspicious that she gets moved to the special housing unit July 7th, and within 21 days, 22 days or so, 23, she gets $5,000 in cash that she deposits. She drove a $62,000 2019 Land Rover Range Rover.
Being paid.
That's a lot for a prison guard. How was that paid for? And when the DOJ interviewed her, she was not asked about the cash. Why not?
Because they're not going to ask her for things that's going to lead them into an investigation of either Epstein still being alive or someone went in there and killed him. So she was being paid ahead of time and moved to that unit where Epstein was at. She was planted there. She was planted there. That's why she Googled who the hell Epstein was on the computer, like minutes before he died, because she was planted there. This was a whole setup anyway. That's crazy. And she was driving a Range Rover. Like, we know damn well you ain't buying no Range Rover off no damn prison guard salary.
What? Why not? Might we need to reopen that investigation? Here's another thing I don't understand. Why, knowing all this, was the FBI so quick, when Cash and Dan came out on Fox and Friends to say he killed himself? That's what we believe. We've seen the videotape. Why did they come out and say that? And presumably having seen this report. I mean, this is pretty extraordinary. And this is questioning during her sworn statement to the DOJ in 2021 when she denied Googling him. Apparently we knew that. We knew it wasn't true. So what led to her, why hasn't this been completely ruled out as a nothing burger? I'd love to know more. The New York Post does not explain it and presumably does not know. They write an internal FBI briefing, also released in the DOJ files, reveals the agency thought Noel was also likely the mysterious orange shape spotted in a blurry surveillance video near Epstein's cell around 10:40 p.m. that night. Now we have video of the mysterious orange shape. Let's watch it. It's orange blob movement. We're Googling in. You can see it for the listening audience on the very right side of the screen. Some sort of orange blob is definitely moving around. It appears to be a person right near Epstein's cell. This is, again, around 10:40 p.m. the night before he would kill himself. This is within hours. And there's been a question about who that is. Well, the Post reports at approximately 10:40 p.m., a correctional officer believed to be Tova Noel carried linen or intimate clothing up to the L tier. Last time any correctional officer approached the only entrance to the SHU tier, that's the special housing unit, wrote the FBI, Epstein apparently hanged himself with strips of orange cloth. In the sworn statement she gave, Tova Noel, who was working a double shift that day, told investigators she last saw Epstein alive somewhere around 10 p.m. and that she never gave out linen ever or clothing to inmates because that's done the shift before. The identity of the pixelated orange blob in the video has been a source of debate and conspiracies, writes the Post, since the FBI released the footage last summer. So this is new information that the FBI, per its internal briefing, which the New York Post has seen now, said that they think it was Tova Noel, that it was the woman who had the mysterious cash deposits. We've always wondered how Epstein got the extra linens in his cell.
Yeah, because it's impossible to actually take yourself out in that in that jail they was in. Yeah, it's impossible. Like even the prisoners in there that was interviewed and countless of people that work there said it's impossible for them to even commit suicide in that jail. So yeah, if he was to commit suicide, it was someone that took the linen up there, or some, like we say, he was crept out of there out the back at the back door of the prison, or someone crept in there and strangled him to death. Either or, because it was mighty funny that they removed
No
his
matter how
cellie
you
out of
look
there.
at it, he was taken out.
Right, right. Either throughout the back door or taken out, strangled.
Out the body
With which
bag,
he killed
right? Out
himself,
the
if
body
he killed
bag or
himself.
throughout the back door. Facts.
Right. Yeah.
Right? If he was murdered, he was murdered. If he killed himself, someone made it very easy for him by providing the extra linen. Or somebody made it very easy for the murderer to cover up the murder by having all this extra linen that made it look like he used it. Tova testified she did not know why Epstein had extra linen in his cell. She doesn't. The other guard on duty was sleeping between 10 p.m. and midnight, she said. A prison employee entering the area of Epstein's cell alone would be a policy violation, workers have said. The Inspector General report released in 2023 said it was unidentified correctional officers who had been in that orange blob. So now the information that it was this same woman, Tova, who
orange is the new blob,
lied to investigators under oath. That seems clear about her Epstein searches, who was searching Epstein in jail latest 40 minutes before he died, and then didn't tell the truth about that, and who had mysterious bank deposits, including right before he died, 10 or 11 days before he died, that she was the one. I mean, this is crazy. This is truly crazy. All the Epstein so-called conspiracy theorists, right, have been like shamed and blamed as nutcases for years now. You tell me, even if you sincerely believe that he killed himself, what's an innocent explanation for all this?
Facts. All right, let's get into a quick commercial break. I got another video to pull up. Just a quick joint. Let's get into this real quick.
If you crave nature but still shop online, Night and Day Herbals is your dream come true. Discover premium herbal soaps, shampoos, and CBD products. All organic, all for you. Shop now at nightandayherbals.com.
We got a 30% off sale going on our website where we sell natural herbal products. Make sure y'all head over there and shop with us, 9dayherbals.com, or you can simply type us in the search. You can type in 9-Day Network LLC in your Google browser, and you'll see us pop up on there, 5 stars on Google. Once again, search 9-Day Network LLC on your Google browser, and you will see us pop up with 5 stars on there. And we have a 30% off sale on all our products on there. So make sure y'all check us out. I wanted to get into this video real quick. Make sure y'all double tap in the screen to like this video too. All right, so this was an episode of Law and Order, right? This was an episode of Law and Order. I think the very first season of Law and Order. Yeah, I think this was like the first season of Law and Order. Season 1, episode 2 of Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, titled A Single Life. That was the name of the episode. And exactly 21:34 timestamp, viewers see a file clearly referenced to Epstein among the case of materials on a detective's desk. This moment is from 1999 episode. The production from the script developed in 1998. Let me play this real quick. We don't need the music for copyright purposes, but look closely. You'll see a file that says Epstein on it right there on the desk. Right there. Yep. Yep, says Epstein right there on the file. And this was 1999 when this episode was aired. And you know, Epstein and them already been around since like the late 80s. So what y'all think of that? Y'all let me know. Matter of fact, let me blow it up a little more so y'all can see it actually. Blow it up a little more so y'all can actually see it right there, right on the desk. It says Epstein right on the files, right there on the desk. Y'all see it? It says Epstein right there on that blue folder.
Yeah, that's
Which
predictive programming.
predictive programming?
Yep, predictive programming. Yep.
And this is a 1999 episode. Yep. And they said the episode, so y'all can check yourselves to see. Y'all can be like, some people like it's AI or it's doctored or not. You can check the episode yourself. You can look up episode season 1. What's that? Season 1, episode 2. This is Law and Order Special Victims Unit. The name of the episode is A Single Life. And the timestamp is exactly at 21:34. 21 minutes and 34 seconds is the timestamp of where this scene is from. Yeah, right there it says Epstein on the file. Yeah. So what y'all think of that? Y'all let us know in the comments below what
They
y'all
put
think of that.
all the shit. They put all the shit in movies and TV series, like we
Yeah.
said. Actually, Epstein's whole life is literally the Blacklist on Netflix. Like he's literally like Raymond Reddington or some shit on. It's almost laughable.
And you know, I never seen
It's
that
insane, actually, how they
whole
do that.
series.
They laugh right in our face.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I never watched
it's
that whole
basically the
series.
whole Epstein shit in a nutshell, bro. It's the whole Epstein shit in a nutshell, for real.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out that.
And the
I
type
ain't
of
even
people
watched that
that
full.
was on a blacklist,
Right. Dang.
and the type of people on the blacklist was literally like the same type of people that you would see in the Epstein files, and the type of work that the main character did was basically like the same shit that Epstein do. Basically,
Blackmailing.
solve problems for people, whether it's financial problems and all that. Oh, he had the blackmailing stuff too. He did a lot of
Yeah.
that. He did a lot of the blackmailing stuff. Like, bro, it's literally Epstein. It's crazy. They just put it
Yeah, I'm
all
gonna
in the
have to.
show. It's insane. And then you see they
Tyrone
put it
Church,
in
you
Law
said
and
I should
Order.
watch it. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna have to find some time, some free time to actually binge watch at least the first season straight through. Like, because when I watch stuff like that, I gotta watch it. I gotta binge watch it. So I gotta, put aside some time to actually binge watch the whole thing. Because how many seasons is it? A Blacklist. I think we delayed, bro. I think it
9
delayed
seasons.
again.
My bad. I was on.
9 seasons.
Nah,
Oh,
I was on. I'm delayed and I had my mic off. Yeah, 9
yeah.
seasons.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find time to binge watch. Yeah, but this is the episode of Law and Order for y'all that just coming in. It's an episode. This episode was aired in 1999. This is the Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and the name of the episode is let me see, I forgot something. A Single Life, and the timestamp is at 21:34. So if y'all want to look that up yourselves, y'all can see. And that right there, one of the files on the desk says Epstein. It's crazy. Predictive programming, bro. All right, this is the last little thing I want to get into. This is like a little breaking news, real quick. So let me get into this. Let me pull this up. So Ghislaine Maxwell, or Ghislaine. So Ghislaine is asking for, and she's asking for a dismissal. Yeah, let's get into it. Hold on. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Nah, you gotta reshare that, John.
I reshare it. All right, hold on, y'all. Let me reshare it. We losing sound. Messing around with the StreamYard. All right, let me reshare it. All right. This is Ghislaine trying to get the hell out of jail.
The co-conspirator of late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, is once again fighting for her release from prison. Maxwell is trying to get a federal judge to vacate her sex trafficking conviction. She submitted her request to federal prosecutors in New York earlier this month. Maxwell previously argued unsuccessfully that her conviction and 20-year sentence should be tossed because she did not get a fair trial. The co-conspirator of late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine probably went out because nobody went to jail after the Epstein files came out. She's probably like, shit, why I gotta go to jail if nobody else going to jail? There's clients on the list. Yep. Yeah, that's Ghislaine wanting up out of there because nobody else went to jail behind the Epstein files being released. Nah, you gotta stay in there, Ghislaine. That shit don't dismiss what you did. How you was recruit going around recruiting them little girls from the beauty pageants and bringing them to Epstein and people like Epstein, and nah, you gotta stay in jail. Sorry. Yep. They're not gonna let her out of jail. Mm-mm. They had to take her out before they let her out. She probably should just stop asking. Like, friggin', I might as well just chalk up the time, get it done, and get out, you know, at a semi-old age and just live on with your life. But yeah, and Diddy and shit, the case, the $100 million case Diddy had, defamation case, that shit got dismissed today. So he ain't winning none of the cases that he you know, under the lawsuits that he put out there himself. Yes, yeah. Let me switch back over. Like I said, Epstein, predictive programming, through Law and Order, the episode Law and Order, from season 1 to episode 2 of Law and Order. Yep. Y'all let us know in the comments what y'all think, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to this channel if you haven't already yet. Make sure you double tap the screen or click the like button and share this information out. And also, like we said, hit up nightandayherbals.com. We got a 30% off sale going on our website. Make sure y'all go over there and shop with us at nightandayherbals.com. We appreciate y'all tuning in and rocking out with us with the content. And yeah, I guess anything else?
Nope. We want to thank y'all for tuning in.
Yep. And on that note, we up out of here, y'all. Peace.
I'm not even gonna lie. The joint pain I deal with every day will slow me all the way down. But ever since I started using this right here, Night and Day Pain Relief Balm, everything changed. And within minutes, I feel the difference. Like real relief. Now I can clean my whole house without even thinking about the pain. As a nurse, I'm on my feet all day. And this right here helps me get through my entire shift. I can actually enjoy time with my kids now. Go outside, be active, without hurting the whole time. It feels good to just live again. Honestly, if it wasn't for Night and Day Pain Relief Balm, I don't think I'd have the quality of life I have right now.
Comfort slows you down. Reach for natural relief. Night and Day Hemp's extra strength CBD pain relief balm melts into aching muscles, delivering warmth you can feel. Soothe your body naturally. Feel free to move again. Night and Day Hemp balm melts away tension so you can enjoy every moment. Feel the difference fast. Real relief, real results. Order now at Night and Day Herbals.